Hello, it's Bailey and welcome back to my channel. If you've been here for a while, you might know what's happening based on the title of this video, but I'm so happy to be announcing that I am bringing back my TBR game, which is called Jokes on Me, after almost 2 years. So I created this game basically when I first started my booktube channel, and I used to play it just like in my bullet journal. I will link in the cards above maybe my announcement video from when I created it before, but this time I have revamped it. I'm bringing it back, and there is a purpose behind why I am bringing this back. Firstly, like I said, I did revamp the game. I did change the prompts, and I asked Ruby to so kindly make me a board so I don't have to play out of my bullet journal. She did such a good job creating the board for the Squash That series round where we had a board game centered around Candyland, so I asked her to make me a pretty board so that I could play Jokes on Me. I did get it printed out, but for the purpose of this video, I will probably just be on the board, but here's the new board. It's so pretty. And so yeah, that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. This is just going to be an announcement. I am currently already, I actually started that first, filming the first vlog playing my game. So let's just get into what my plan with the game is going to be. Firstly, this is going to be a huge vlogging project wherein every time I play the game, I plan to do 3 card flips, which will make more sense when I actually re-describe the game. Each vlog will contain 3 card flips and then also a book of my choice. So this is going to be an ongoing vlog project. I am planning on only playing this game. Basically, you'll see there are prompts on the board that allow me to do some other things in my reading life, but basically going forward, I am just going to be playing my TBR game always. And my goal in doing this is to be reading my physical TBR and getting my physical TBR down to 10 books. I have expressed wanting to do this before, but I've never found a good method. So this is my next attempt at a method, and I'm hoping to stick to this one. I'm so excited to be doing this. So I am now going to throw myself onto this board so that I can explain everything to you about how my game is played. This is a game in which I use a deck of cards, and so for the purposes of starting on the board, I will be starting in that bottom right hand corner and going around the board. The purpose of the game is to get all the way around the board one time, and my reward for getting around the board one time, for now, I only have so much PTO, but for now my reward for getting all the way around the board is going to be to take a day off of work. But there is a way that prevents me from getting all the way around the board, and again, I will get into that. So essentially, each of the number cards, I just move that many spaces. An ace is a 1. A 2 would have me move 2 spaces, and then whatever prompt I land on, I would do that prompt 2 times. A 3, I would move 3 spaces, but I would do each of those 3 prompts. So I would do all 3 of them. A 4 sends me backwards, and I still do the prompt that I land on when I go backwards. A 5, I just get to move the 5 spaces. A 6, I split 3 and 3, so I would move 3, do that prompt, and then move 3 more and do that prompt as well. A 7 has me jump across the board, which does count as forward progress. So basically, if I folded the board in half, that's where I would jump. And an 8, I move 8 spaces, but whatever prompt I land on, I do the opposite of what it says. And then 9 and 10, I just move that many spaces on the board. So the face cards are the fun ones though. A jack, I unhaul a book for my TBR, and a king and a queen, I get to purchase a book. So I plan on doing no purchasing outside of me flipping kings and queens. So that's how my TBR is going to get down. There's no book purchasing out of my Jokes on Me allowances. And then the kicker of the game, and why this is called Jokes on Me, is if I flip either of the jokers, I completely start over. I stay where I am on the board, but that is now my new spot I need to get to win and get my reward. So that is the gist of the game. As I put out these vlogs, I'm sure it'll make a lot more sense. It's not too complicated. It's really just a fun game for me to get prompts. I love picking books this way, so I'm excited to get back into it. But now I would like to just go ahead and go through each of the prompts. So if you don't care, if you just want to find out what they are as I land on them, you can go ahead and leave the video, but I am going to go through and explain each of the prompts and kind of what they mean. So I am looking down at the board as well as you should be looking at the board as well. So if I'm looking down, I'm looking at the board, but I'm going to start in that bottom right hand corner with longest on shelf. So the only things that are on my Goodreads TBR right now are my physical TBR as well as my NetGalley ARCs. I have nothing else on my want to read. It is not a want to read list for me. Essentially, it is my owned TBR. So I can sort everything and get my physical TBR, if that makes sense. So longest on my shelf would just be what I have owned the longest. I generally let myself choose from like the top 3 options, and then that next spot is owned for over a year, and then I have a reread of choice, so I would reread something, just whatever I want to reread. And then I have a Chris pick, which is my husband. He would pick a book from me. And then I have first on YouTube, so I would go to my YouTube feed and watch a video until I found something that I already owned. And then I have a poll pick, so I would post a few options and let either Twitter or Instagram, you know, somewhere vote on what I should read. I have NetGalley, so any of my NetGalley books. And then I have from my store, which if you're not that familiar with me, you might not know what this means. I do own a pop-up used bookstore in which I do just like pop-up events. So if I landed on this, I would go down to the basement, go through my stock for the store, and pick a book from there. Then I have start a series, and then random letter, where I would just randomly generate a letter and pick a book with that letter in the title or the author's name. Then I have first on Instagram, which is basically the same as first on YouTube. I would scroll until I found something that I own. These will continue to get harder as I get less and less books on my TBR, so should be a fun time. Then in that bottom left corner, I have book of the month. So any of my book of the month books, I have plenty to choose from right now. Then I have other TBR games, so I could look at any of my friends' TBR games and pick from there. Lowest rated. And then reread random number, which for this I would random number generate how many books I have read on my shelf and reread that. Recent purchase, again, I didn't put most recently purchased because I will let myself choose from probably like the past few months for a recent purchase. And then I have finish a series, and then least popular, which least popular to me means the fewest people have read it, not star rating. So like number of ratings, not average star rating. And then this next prompt is readathon. So basically I will be earning every readathon that I'm allowed to participate in. So if I land on the readathon prompt, I earn 1 week of being able to pause my TBR game and participate in a readathon. So if a readathon is 2 weeks long, I will need to have banked 2 of these readathon prompts, if that makes sense. And then I have a new release. Then I have repeat author, which to me means an author that I have read before. Then I have longest book, so the longest book on my TBR. Then I have first on Goodreads, which again is going to be the same as those first on YouTube, first on Instagram. This is just going to be my Goodreads feed. So if you're not friends with me on Goodreads, I always link it down below. Go ahead, add me as a friend. Do what you want to do. And then the next one is book club. So this can be reading my book club pick for the shelf, this book club, or any other book club that I so choose, but this is allowing me to participate in things. Next, in the spirit of 5-star picks my TBR, since I didn't follow through with that project, I have someone's next 5-star, so I would keep an eye out for this person's upcoming 5-star. There's another prompt on here coming up that is to read someone's previous 5-star. So those are both on there. I do think it's just a fun way to read what my friends are reading and loving with me having set that project aside. And then I have a friend pick, so any of my friends, I could give them a ring and they can pick from my TBR. Then I have random color, so again I would random random generate a color and pick a cover with that color or as close to as possible. And then I have a second prompt that is NetGalley. I really need to get through my NetGalley arcs. And then next I have highest rated, and then debut, so anything that is a debut. I have last letter, first letter, which is basically taking the last letter of the last book that I read and picking a book that starts with that letter. You know what I mean. And then I have most popular, which again is based on number of ratings, not average star rating. Then in the home stretch on this right hand side here, I have new to me author, and then oldest published, and then here is that someone's last 5-star. I do have one prompt on here that is to mood read, so I could pick whatever I wanted. I have a short book, which I generally classify as anything under 300 pages. If I get to the point that my TBR is getting small enough, it will just be my shortest book. And then I have a sequel, and then I have a second readathon square, and then finally random number generate. So that's the board. I hope you're looking forward to watching me play this game again, or for the first time if you haven't been around. It's been a long time, but comment down below if you remember when I used to play this game. That would be fun. Some of my friends that have been here for quite a long time will definitely remember, but thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!